everybody. Thanks for coming back and watching us on The Knot. This is the He Said, She Said portion with Scott Freymuller, the host, and Shelly Netco, my co-host of this portion of the show. Today we're going to talk about body language. And let's remember that this always relates back to how people may act after a traumatic event. And Shelly just turned the other way from me and crossed her arms. So clearly you have issues. But, that's part of what we're talking about. We're talking about a partner, like say, and I'll just get right into this with you right now. But
go for it.
I'm like, so say you have a partner and you're walking with each other and you go to grab their hand and they don't want to hold your hand, or you like what you just did. You know, you're sitting in a restaurant and you're sitting this way.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? You're just not. You know what I'm saying? Like that says a lot.
Or this the whole time.
Or you're
I might be cold. That's one thing.
Right. You might be cold or whatever. Yeah. But tell me, like, and I want to say from a woman's perspective, but from a coaching perspective, like, the way a woman looks at you, the way a woman acts around you, if she touches you or whatever, that's affection. Mm-hmm. And I know that in interactions, even any interaction, people are affectionate or not affectionate. They either look in the eye, they don't look in the eye, or, maybe sometimes people look at the ground because they are thinking about something else, or they're always looking at their phone or whatever. But your body language says so much. Mm-hmm. And, like I'm insecure because I got my whoopee, right? Like, because I'm a little bit nervous on here, right? Still a little. I'm not super comfortable here yet. So I have my little Sharpie pen, and I hang on to it and I play with it. And for whatever reason, it makes me feel more comfortable. But that's body language. Like you can tell, or like this. I sit like this. I'm open.
You're open.
My legs are open. My legs aren't crossed. I'm not blocking anything from me. I look people in the eye when I talk to them. All those different things, and that's important. It's super important.
So let's talk about it from a relationship perspective.
Okay.
So there's a difference between how you're sitting now versus like one of the other shows where you're sitting like this and talking to me.
Oh, because I'm super, like I'm relaxed.
Super engaged. Like
and this is like a playful
interested,
conversation.
Right?
So I don't have to
So
be,
I'm just,
No, you're right.
I'm just, versus like what I was doing,
oh,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
So there are many things that play into it, I think. And there are many nuances that people miss. And there are also cues that people misinterpret, whether it's male, female.
Okay, give me some cues that were misinterpreted.
Let's see. Well, there was I was in a situation where, where was I? Can't remember. And we were talking, it was about men and women, and men misinterpreting someone just looking them directly in the eye as, oh my gosh, she wants me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, where it's like you make eye contact and,
right.
and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, is that a thing?
I think that's so interesting that you said that. That is very interesting.
Whereas a woman, if somebody does that, they might think like, what is he looking at?
Right.
Or maybe like depend on how he's looking at her, like, creep. I mean, we have a different interpretation of that. Unless, it could be like a genuine like connection, kind of a, make eye contact.
Like you hold eye
where
contact.
Where you've kind of like glanced at somebody, a few times, and then you make eye contact. Where it's like a thing, but it's just kind of more of a male thing, from what I understand from my female counterparts. That when that happens, that men might think it's really
okay. So now I'm engaged again.
Scott.
This is good
Go.
shit. So let's play this out.
Okay.
So one of the funniest things for me is like, if I'm in a relationship and a girl looks at me, I'm like, fuck, she's looking at me, and I look away. No, I need my whoopee. So like if I'm in a relationship and a girl looks at me, I'm like, oh fuck, I can't look at her. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
If you're in a relationship?
Like I don't engage with other.
If somebody else looks at you. I thought you were talking about your partner.
Right. Like
okay.
if you're
in a relationship and another woman looks at you.
I don't want to engage with that, right? Because I don't know. It's kind of weird. Or like you're out with somebody. Okay. Say you're out and you're on a date.
Yep.
How many dates? Is it 36, 37, 38, 39? Where are we at?
35, whatever.
All right. So you're on 30 whatever, if you're still in the 30s, and somebody looks at you. Like I told you that one time I was with somebody, and somebody was coming out of a bar, and she was like super, super like into me, and I was super into her too, and I'm like, fuck, I can't say anything because I'm with her, it'd be disrespectful, right?
So it was just a look.
Yeah, but she
like in a romance novel,
yeah,
your
like
eyes
a
locked.
Look, man. Yeah, like I would have written her letters
like James
for a year.
Blunt on the subway when he wrote "You're Beautiful."
Yeah, man.
Are
it was
you
probably
kidding?
because I was wearing I wasn't wearing this.
Did you
shirt,
have your happy shirt on?
I didn't have my happy shirt on.
Come on.
No, but you know what I'm saying though. It's that the body language. It's open body language. It's like hey, how are you doing? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Just like your face says a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're smiling and if you lean forward, like you just said, right?
Sure.
But this is intriguing. So the eye contact thing.
Yes.
I think a man can say hello to a woman and be appreciative of a woman, not in a shitty, weird way.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that he's hitting on her.
Okay.
Just because a man says hello to a woman doesn't
I
mean
didn't
that
say.
he's hitting on
I
her.
didn't say.
No, I know that,
that's
but
what
I'm
that
just
meant.
saying that a lot of women think that. Like if, like say I'm somewhere, I would talk to a man or
Interesting.
a male or female the same. Right?
Okay.
I'd be like, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? You know, da 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 da. And then sometimes they're like, what in the fuck are you talking to me for?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, people
and
aren't,
I'm- in my
people
head-
aren't used to strangers just like rolling in and talking to them confidently. They're not used to it. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I talk to fucking everybody.
So
but
do I.
anyways, but it usually seems to be okay. But sometimes you get that person that's kind of like,
But that's
what?
not about you. That's about them.
No, it is. I'm not saying it offends me. I'm just saying that body language, you can tell from the body language, they're like, and they like grab their purse and they put it over here and they're like, you know what I'm saying? That says
Sure.
everything, right? Or that's a good example too. Somebody comes in, like you're sitting at a restaurant or whatnot, like say at the bar,
Sure.
and there's lots of seats open. There's one next to you, and you pull the seat close to you and you put your purse on it. That means like,
Don't sit by me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many cues.
Yeah.
So tell me more. Like you have your legs crossed, but you don't have your legs crossed because
that's
you're
because-
blocking me. You don't want you have your legs crossed because you don't want the camera to see.
Yeah, I don't want the camera to-
because you're wearing a skirt and it's ladylike, like you're poised, right?
Yeah.
Or did you actually even think about it?
I'm just making sure that I'm
Like covered up.
good on camera.
Okay. All right, got it.
Actually, I cross my legs all the time. It's
Yeah,
comfortable.
but like if I cross
I
my
get
legs
it.
like this and I'm like this,
Well,
that's
your arms are
different.
crossed too. You're closed off.
Yeah, I'm closed off.
Yeah.
I'm like.
But I'm also
whatever.
doing everything else that's engaging.
Yeah.
So if you get it, you understand that I'm just
And if
comfortable
you
like
if you look in somebody's eyes and stuff too.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So.
So I'm not talking to you, looking at the ground, looking over here. But sometimes when I'm thinking, see what I'm doing right now? So
You look away.
Yeah, and I did this. God, there was this class I took once. I can't remember what it was. It was about your type of personality. And people who are information gatherers look up and to the left. People who are like ledger readers, more like finance people, look up and to the right when they're thinking. People, it's like different types of personalities. You gather your information. As you're gathering information, you look to a different place because that's where you're pulling from internal, like subconsciously.
Right. Like which file you're getting.
Yeah,
in your brain or
yeah.
whatever.
So
Yeah.
so that's also another thing. It's like there's a lot of things that can be misinterpreted.
And the words people use too, and the tone is huge. And I know that's not body language per se.
And then
but
things like this.
Yeah, yeah. Or fidgety, like I'm
Yeah.
fidgeting with my pen.
No,
or
this isn't
whatever.
fidgeting.
What is that?
This is when like a woman like plays with her hair, touches her ear.
What does that even mean?
She's interested.
Oh, really?
Make a note.
Shit.
You didn't know
All
that?
right, Dave, Nick, make a note.
Also, look, they're like, I'm making a note.
Oh, no, but
also,
remember we were at that thing. We were at that. We were walking around talking to people, right?
Yeah.
And this girl goes to me. She goes, "Did you wink at me?" And I was like, "No, I don't wink at anybody ever. I don't like." And she goes, "Well, if you wink,
You're like-
if you wink at me, that means I know that you like me." And I was like, "If I like you, you'll know."
yeah.
Like, so I'll walk up and just say, "Hey, I really
You're
like
like,
you."
good-
I don't
good
give a
try,
shit. I'll
good
just say
try.
it,
I won't
right?
be winking
Like, I'm not
tonight.
gonna play a fucking game.
Right.
But anyways, it was funny that she said that. And I
Well,
was
that
like,
was
oh.
that was her
So if a
pickup
guy
line.
winks and a girl like plays with her ear.
No,
then-
well, guys don't wink. That was her pickup line.
Oh. Fuck, everybody's laughing at me. I'm actually super embarrassed right now.
And then another one. If somebody's playing with their
I feel
ring,
like such a fucking
No,
dumbass.
don't.
That is so funny.
if somebody's playing with their ring, don't worry, we'll go off camera and I'll give you all the cues.
That is so funny that
So-
I didn't even think of that. 'Cause
so-
I'm pretty good at that shit, I thought.
No, you're not.
Okay, thanks.
So, well, you just proved 2 out of 2. You're not.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really been like by myself
I
for a long
know.
time. You know what I mean? I went
I
from
know.
like marriage, then I dated a little bit a long time
We
ago.
gotta do
then I was
some
in marriage,
homework.
and then I went right into another relationship for a
Yeah.
long time. So I need to work on
Yeah,
my
before
shit.
you get out there, we gotta do some
I'll
homework.
work on that.
But anyway, so another one is like if someone's playing with a ring, then that can be an indication like they're still emotionally connected to someone, or they're married, or like whatever. But it's something that, as they're talking to you, if they're fidgeting with a ring, that's usually
What if they're fidgeting with a
some-
pen? What does that mean?
just that you like Sharpies.
Okay, just making sure. That's so funny, man. I'm still stuck.
We
on
don't
that.
have any security blankets
God,
here.
that's so funny. I didn't even get it. She was cute too. I didn't even get it. Oh,
Now
I
you
love
know.
my life.
Now
It's
you
so
know.
funny.
And
I
also
love
the
it.
touching, like in a conversation.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
I
know.
knew that one. Like,
Yeah.
hey, ha ha.
So I know this. I have a friend who she read some stuff, like people do, like the date 5 guys at a time, do all this stuff, right? What are we talking about again? Body
It's all
language.
bullshit.
I
Yeah.
can't remember. But so she was of that school of thought. She was just going to consume all this information by all these experts, and then she was going to land a man. And I was like, let me know how it goes.
Doesn't work.
So she starts doing her, she's dating 5 guys, she's doing all this stuff, she has her list, but her list is not character qualities. It's things like 6 feet tall, 6 figures, that kind of stuff, right? And so that's when I was like, wow, this is going to be a shit show that's going to be so fun to watch, because it was just like, this doesn't make any sense. So then she told me this stuff, and she's like, oh my gosh, I read all this stuff, and it's all these things I need to do on a first date. And I was like, okay, what is it? Tell me. Wow, I'm supposed to play with my hair. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to touch his knee so many times. I'm like, wow, this is like so beyond anything that it's like you're gonna organically let something.
Bullshit.
All fake, all fake. It's like acting. So she was gonna go in and become this actress to try to catch this guy who she didn't know any of his characteristics or qualities or anything, because all she wanted to know was he was 6'6".
Okay.
You don't know what that is either.
No, I do. Okay. I'm just like, really?
I know.
That's where we're at.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what people do. So that's why you can take body language to like an nth degree, or you can just sit down and just kind of look for nuances and understand them.
You know what I like? I like conversation.
Me too.
Like if I could talk to somebody and just bullshit with them, they don't have to like play with their hair or nothing. You know what I mean? If we have a good conversation, then that's a connection.
Right.
And in the conversation, you find out about them if you're interested, and then you know like if they're whatever, married or not married or whatever, if you have the same shit. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's, I don't know. I don't even I pay attention to body language in can you talk to me or not talk to me, but I don't pay attention to body language like, hey, I'm interested by like how you play with your hair or your earring.
No, I'm just saying it's cues.
Yeah.
It was just like, fun dating stuff, or just male-female stuff. But you also know what body language doesn't work for you, I'll bet.
Yeah. I will say something that now looking back, being on it's how somebody looks at you. It's how they look at you and how they engage. Mm-hmm. Like I can tell if a woman likes me by the way she looks at me. Like my ex used to look at other people like she liked them, but not me. And I knew it, but I didn't have the balls to say anything.
Sure.
Right? So it was one of those things where, now I'm like really, really in tune to that because eye contact is huge. And because I can remember like being on a date and being with somebody the way she looks at me, I'm like, oh fuck, she likes me. Like I don't like her. You know what I mean? Like I better like figure this out or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting how that works. It's really, really, really interesting. I think eyes say a lot. Or when you look at somebody smile, you can smile with your mouth or you can smile with your eyes and your mouth, and that means you're really happy
With yourself.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, right? So. All right, talk more about this body language thing, because clearly I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
You just want to make a list.
I thought I was good at that.
Just make a list right now.
Yeah, make a list. All right, boys, you guys ready?
Well, what's funny is, so one of the first dates I was on, and I've been having like a long period of conversation with this person because I can't remember. I was out of town, he was out of town, and we just had been texting for a little while. And I was really enjoying that. We had conversations on the phone.
Because you like that, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I just need it. And so then when we finally got together, it's just everything about like his whole, I don't know, just who he was just like didn't work for me. And it wasn't that he wasn't good looking or, it just wasn't his body. It wasn't like his physicality. It was just his energy.
Okay, that makes sense.
It was his energy. And I couldn't hide. Like I told you, my daughter says that I don't need words.
You work harder than sleep.
I don't
Yeah,
need words. My face says what I'm thinking.
Right.
And so, I was definitely polite.
Right.
But that's all I could be.
Yeah.
And his energy matched who he was. He was negative. Even though all the conversation, everything leading up to our meeting was positive. And it was really just put me off. So the next day, I sent him a message and said, I didn't, I had a good time, didn't really feel any chemistry, we made friends, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, wow, really negative vibe from you. I was like, okay.
Let's talk about let's talk about this, how that relates to trauma.
Okay.
Like, so say somebody comes home and they had a really horrible day or something really bad happened, and they're talking to you, or you're talking to them and they're sitting far away, and they don't like touch. This is your partner now, and they don't touch you and they don't like hold you and hug you and all that kind of stuff. That makes you not want to talk. Yes.
True.
So that affection, especially in a relationship. Now we're talking about body language in a relationship. That affection, that like holding, that intimacy, the eye contact, the language you use, the I love yous, the whole, all that kind of stuff really means a lot. It makes somebody feel comfortable to be able to feel safe to share.
Yes. Body language opens the other person up to wanting to be vulnerable.
Yep, absolutely. And how you, like you ever watch a movie on the couch and like where you sit and how you act, it says everything about your relationship. It says everything.
Everything.
Like when you're new, you're like all, you know what I mean? Like hanging out and holding hands and hugging each other all the time and you kiss and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And then as you get more comfortable, right, that's like the true relationship, right? Like if you're still holding hands and you're still respectful and you still open up doors and you're still getting flowers, or not you, because I know you don't like flowers, but like things that are affectionate and things that show that, hey, I appreciate you, I respect you, I like you in my life, I'm making an effort consistently, etc. That is huge. Versus the other way, when you see somebody out at dinner and they're on their phones or they're like that kind of shit, right? Like it says everything in a relationship. That also is an indicator of, if they are talking or if they are communicating. Like the health of the relationship, the body language between a couple is a huge thing too.
I think body language in a relationship either projects acceptance or rejection.
Yeah, or like a game, kind of. Like if they're pissed off at you or you're pissed
That's
off at them,
rejection.
you're going to act different.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, acceptance or rejection?
Yeah. I mean, there's no in between.
Okay.
I don't think there is.
Well, okay, what about a relationship with your friends then? There's body language there too. Like, I mean, you accept
there
it,
is.
but not like in a loving
There
way.
is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I'm not challenging it.
Yeah,
I guess
there
it's
is.
this. Is
Yeah,
it the same?
because I've definitely been in friendships where you have kind of an organic, dynamic flow of how things go and how you feel about each other and things you say, things you do that are normal and everything. And then one day it changes. But the only reason it changes, the words might be the same, but something changes. You might be out at dinner and there's like, maybe my girlfriend isn't looking me in the eye, or, she's busy on her phone the whole time, which she never would have done before. So all those kinds of things. And it's just things that people don't pay attention to, I feel like.
So don't you think you can feel energy too?
Oh, I notice all of it, and it's a problem.
So, but you can meet somebody and be like, oh my God, they seem pissed off, or like they seem like they, you know what I mean? Like you can kind of feel like where they're at, sort of. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's really happy, you know it.
Yes.
You know it from like way far away.
Yes.
Like you know that they're just happy people by the way they walk and talk and
Sure.
act and look and blah, blah, blah. But you also know if somebody's like having a hard day too.
You can tell.
And that's not always all body language. That's just like a feeling maybe. Or the
Well,
way they look or the way they're...
Some people don't pick up on that, but I think body language definitely is the
It
beginning
helps.
of it.
But it's not all
Sure.
of it,
Like
right? It's like the whole package.
People who aren't proud are not going to stand up as tall. People who aren't happy aren't going to stand up as tall. It might affect their energy and they look tired and we misinterpret it as tired.
Right.
Or we misinterpret it as sad, but really they're just exhausted from life.
Right.
There's a lot of things like that. And a person who's tired carries himself differently, and a person who's beat up by life carries himself differently.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of the body language. It's not necessarily from a dating perspective. Like now I know forever about the wink thing, whatever. But the like the sitting, like this kind of stuff and the crossed legs and the not wanting to touch or be affectionate, those all say a lot. And that's the red flag thing we always talk about on the show is, your body language says so much. And that's something to pay attention to for cues, right?
Yes.
If their body language isn't the same as it normally is, or all of a sudden they're really closed off and they're crossing their legs and they've got their arms crossed, or they're not as social, or they don't look you in the eye anymore.
The other end of the sofa, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or they're not looking you in the eye anymore when they're talking to you, or they keep looking down at the ground all the time, or those things are really important to address. And I know it sucks. Like sometimes you don't want to know, right? Like I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I just don't want to know.
Sure.
But you have to understand that, hey, there's something going on and I don't want to know right now, but it does need to be addressed at some point. And that goes back to, hey, are you okay? Oh yeah, I'm fine. But you're clearly not, right? You're not acting in any way like you want to be whatever here or in the relationship or whatever. So like, what's going on? Like, what do you need?
Well, but the thing
That's the best question. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no,
remember when Carrie said that?
Yeah,
she's like, what do you need right now?
Right.
What can I do for you right now? That's such a loving, caring question.
That's the
what do you need?
That's the number one, I would say, light bulb when I work with clients that are having relationship struggles, is it's like fix my husband. He's this, he's that. I'm not happy. Like wherever they are, and after we get through, do you want to stay? Then some of those tricks, I guess, not even tricks, but just new integrations are things like ask him what you can do for him. Like, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
What do you need?
For sure.
And so often we lose touch with that because somebody comes in the door, they're closed off, they're stressed out, they throw their bag down, they go off and take a shower or whatever, go sit down, turn on the TV, pour a drink, whatever it is.
Right.
All those things, body language cues that tell us, fuck off, quite frankly.
Right.
So we're going to stay in the other room and fuck off, right? So all that stuff is what leads to a place where it's either like a major roadblock you never get past, or it's something that you can actually address in a loving way, have a conversation, and then get to the place where you can start to work on it and say things like, what do you need?
But you can say, what do you need then too? Because sometimes people are just like, man, give me some space. Like I've come home when I worked, whatever, my past career, I'd come home and be like, dude, I just need to freaking unpack this shit. I just want to like lay down and go to sleep and just like relax for a little while. I just don't want to deal with any more stuff. And I've said that before, like, just leave me alone. Like, what do you need? Oh, just leave me alone for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a normal, okay thing. It's not about you. Right. And if somebody's all pissed off in the other room, there's no reason why your partner should respond in a shitty way and be like, oh, fuck you then, I'm going to go over here.
Right.
They should be like, all right, you got some stuff going on. Hey, let me know when you're ready to talk or whatever, but I'll be here working and hanging out. And that's like support.
But if that becomes day after day after day after week after week after week,
then you're done with it.
And
then they're not choosing you.
And nobody's.
I get it.
This person isn't talking.
Right.
Because they just want to keep laying down. They're exhausted. They had too much shit during the day. Whatever. Right. And then this person is like, well, okay, I mean, I'm here if you need me.
Right.
But this person never says I actually need you.
Right.
And then it's just a stone wall grows between us.
I totally get it. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you don't need body language to shut each other off. You got a wall.
Yeah, you already know, right? You already know you're screwed. Yeah. I get it. Well, I think there's more to talk about with that because it can go way deeper than this. But, it just goes, like we keep talking about these red flags, and that's one of them. Body language says a lot.
Absolutely.
Your tone says a lot. If you're compassionate, that's the other thing too. When we talked about being alone, if you're compassionate with yourself, you're going to be compassionate with your partner and your friends and people in your business and all that kind of stuff. And that makes a big difference in your life too, because when you're acting with compassion and gratitude, you're not going to come from an angry state. And you're going to be welcoming towards people, and you're going to like want them to be successful and happy around you, right? Not like you're being fake, but you're being compassionate. Like, dude, I totally get what happened. That was horrible. That sucked. Or we had an argument or whatever, but well, let's fix it. Let's figure it out. You know what I'm saying? It seems like most issues and most problems can be repaired if you choose to, but both people have to choose, like we always say, right? But body language is just another indicator, just another red flag.
Yes, it's another symptom.
Yeah. But it's also like, woo! If that's body language too, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's me.
Yeah, it's not all bad. No, we're just, obviously that was a piece where we were talking about negativity.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Shelley. Everybody, that was body language. This is Scott Freymuller and Shelley Netco with The Knot. Thanks for watching.